Everything seemed to be going smoothly with both my job and family life. So how did it come to this? John, I'll get straight to the point. Can you quit the company? What? To be clear, you're an eyesore. If you won't quit, I can ask my dad to scrap this project. Are you okay with that? That's absurd. I was being threatened with resignation by the son of a client's president, who had been hired through nepotism at our company. After much thought, I decided it was not wise to resist. A major company project was at stake. Despite feeling frustrated and ashamed, I succumbed to his threats and decided to quit the company. When I revealed to my wife, Emily, that I was quitting my job, "Well then, that's good. Thank you for quitting your job." Surprised by Emily's unexpected words, I tilted my head in confusion. My name is John. I'm a 26-year-old construction worker. My father is a well-known architect who handles everything from state offices and commercial buildings to custom homes. And my mother works as an interior coordinator, partnering in my father's architectural firm. Growing up in a family of architects, I was captivated by the allure of architecture from an early age. Even when taken to museums, I was more interested in the structure and architectural styles of the buildings than the exhibits themselves. I loved looking at my parents' work and flipping through the vast collection of architectural materials and photos at their workplace. I dreamed of someday doing this kind of work myself. I went to a high school with an architectural program and used the money I earned from part-time jobs to visit newly opened cafes and commercial facilities, conducting my own field work to understand the architectural styles and materials used. After graduating from high school, eager to get involved in architecture as soon as possible, I decided against attending university, as my parents had suggested, and instead joined a major construction company in my hometown. Since joining the company at 18, I've spent 6 years working tirelessly on-site every day. Through my work, I've steadily accumulated practical knowledge and experience necessary for architecture, such as construction work, reading blueprints, and using equipment. I'm satisfied with my career. While working, I've never stopped studying architecture. I want to one day create buildings that I've designed myself. That's the dream I've been tirelessly pursuing. I may be a dull man who sweats through physical labor every day and spends his evenings buried in studies, but I have the love and support of my dear wife. I fell in love at first sight with her 3 years ago when she was working for one of our clients. After a relentless pursuit, we started dating and were happily married last year. Now, she wakes up early every morning to make lunch for me, who works on site. She's an excellent cook, practically a professional. My colleagues are envious of my beautiful Emily's lunchboxes, and I eat lunch with great pride. Sometimes, I forget my precious lunchbox, and a few times a month, she brings it to the site for me. It's not that I want to brag about my adorable wife, not at all. Then, on a day when both my home and work life were going smoothly, at Lumina Construction, where I work, the son of President Thompson from our major client, a general contractor, was set to join the company. He is a 25-year-old named Michael, who graduated from a university's architecture program and passed the first-class architect exam. He was hired after President Thompson requested us to provide him with the practical experience needed for his license registration. We all welcomed the young first-class architect with open arms, but it turned out he was an unbearable individual who flaunted his status as the son of a client's president and behaved arrogantly. Despite this, my colleagues tried to be considerate, engaging him in conversation and teaching him about our work. But Michael's attitude worsened day by day, making increasingly disruptive comments. Michael, about the meaning for the upcoming site. The site? I'm a first-class architect, you know. Why do I have to do site work? Why? Because you need practical experience, right? You need to work on construction facilities and actually work on site. It's fine. After all, I've passed the exam. Besides, if you keep nagging me, I'll tell my dad and have you fired. Don't talk to me so casually. But President Brighton has instructed us to. Annoying. I'm really going to tell on you. That's not fair. Just handle the site work among yourselves. I'm busy with design work, so I'm leaving now. In this manner, Michael utterly detested on-site work, looking down on colleagues, senior employees, and even supervisors. Moreover, as the son of the president of a major general contractor client, everyone treated him like a delicate matter, unable to say what they really wanted, creating a tense atmosphere in the company. Amidst this tension, a construction project group for a significant enterprise was launched within the company. The task was a significant project, the construction of a large corporation's headquarters building. This involved demolishing an old building in front of the station and constructing a new mixed-use building directly connected to the station, which includes offices and commercial facilities. I was also chosen to be part of the group and was highly motivated. The group was set to proceed with the work with 10 members. Michael was among them. From the beginning, Michael was enthusiastic about this glamorous big project, asserting right off the bat that he would take the lead in the design. I'll be the design leader, so please divide up the detailed structural calculations and other miscellaneous tasks among yourselves. I'll handle the architectural design, so no input is needed, thank you. Are you going to do it alone? It's a big project, are you sure you can handle it? Of course, after all, I am a first-class architect. I have plenty of ideas stocked up from my university days, so it'll be a breeze. Really? Enough, will you? Do you think it's okay to say that to me? I'm just worried. That's none of your concern. Initially, Michael was full of confidence, working on the building's design, but the situation gradually became more ominous. This was because every design Michael submitted to the client was consistently rejected. It seemed the client's desired concept and Michael's designs were completely misaligned, leading to the client's patience running thin. It was even mentioned that if Michael's next presentation didn't succeed, they would consider hiring another construction company. Feeling cornered, Michael spent all day at his desk and computer, seemingly stuck and unable to make progress. However, since he had so boldly claimed he would handle it alone, others hesitated to offer help. As the presentation day loomed and Michael sat at his desk with a sense of desperation, I decided to offer some advice. Michael, about the concept the client wants. What? Do you have a good idea? Contrary to my expectations of resistance, he seemed open to my suggestions. He must have been feeling desperate. Well, what about incorporating nature into the office space, like creating meeting areas with wooden partitions and lattices, planting trees in between, or designing the staircase in a spiral to add a sense of space? That makes sense. Since they didn't like the typical office design from before, maybe boldly using wood to make people wonder if it's really an office might work. I've drawn up some plans like this. Can I see them? This looks good. Really? For the entrance? Michael listened intently, looking over the design plans I showed him. He then pleaded for the date of the design, and as a group member, I gladly agreed. Eventually, the presentation, based almost entirely on my design, was highly praised by the client. I was relieved that Lumina Construction secured this major project. Moreover, I was particularly proud that my design was adopted. That's an excellent design, Michael. The previous proposals were disappointing, but this time you've perfectly reflected our wishes. Thank you. I rethought everything from scratch, sparing no time for sleep. Inspiration struck me in a moment of extreme pressure. Wait, isn't this the design I created? Right. Keep up the good work. Incredibly, Michael took all the credit for the project's success in front of the client. After the client left, I confronted Michael. Michael, this is too much. How can you monopolize the success like this? What's wrong with that? I presented it under my name. But in the end, it was my design that was used, right? Well, what are you talking about? If you keep overstepping your bounds, I might just ask my dad to get you fired from this company, you know. Are you okay with that? You can't do that. What are you saying? Do you have any idea how much stock my dad holds in this small construction company? The personnel and management of this company are all under my dad's control. That's absurd. Don't believe it. Think I can't do it. Want to see for yourself. Michael sneered, belittling me. I bit my lower lip in frustration but endured it, not wanting to be removed from this job. After that, the project proceeded smoothly, and we entered a critical phase in the design work. One evening, as I was working late, Michael unusually approached me for a conversation. Ever since the incident where he took credit for my work, Michael and I hadn't spoken at all, and even if he apologized now, I had no intention of forgiving him. John, can I talk to you for a sec? What is it? Don't be so standoffish. After stealing my work, you have the nerve to act like this. Wow, you really hold a grudge, huh? Anyway, that's not important. To cut to the chase, can you quit the company? What? Are you hard of hearing? I said, quit the company. If you don't, I might just ask my dad to scrap this project, you know. If the project gets scrapped, you'd be in trouble, right? Idiot. I'm the son of president. I'm just here for training and to build my resume. If this big project gets scrapped, it's the people of this company who will suffer, not me. If you quit, everyone else won't have to be left in the lurch. What will you do? That's despicable. What do you gain from doing this? You're an eyesore. A lowly high school graduate doing site work, acting all high and mighty towards me. A university graduate and first-class architect. It was so annoying. I just want you gone from my sight. That's ridiculous. Then, please submit your resignation tomorrow. However, I was dumbfounded by the unexpected turn of the conversation. Michael might have noticed my anger towards him and feared that it would somehow come out that he stole the project's success. Dealing with Michael started to feel absurd. If I stay here, Michael might throw a tantrum and actually scrap the project. That would be too regrettable. I managed to design the building I aimed for, even though it didn't end up being credited to me. I absolutely want to see it completed. Besides, I can achieve my dreams even if it's not with this company. After a night of agonizing, I decided to quit the company. Worried that my resolve might waver, I decided to discuss it with Emily after submitting my resignation. The next day, my boss was surprised and concerned when I submitted my resignation, but after explaining the situation, he understood and supported my decision. I also said my farewells to the project group members. Among them, a good senior colleague named Derek said, "Thank you for quitting," and patted my shoulder in a comforting manner. Surprised by his words, I looked at Derek's face, which seemed serious despite his smile, but I couldn't bring myself to ask again and just thanked him before parting ways. After organizing my things at the company, I went home and told Emily about my resignation. Actually, I quit my job today. I made the decision without telling you, and I'm really sorry. Why are you apologizing? Huh? Actually, it was the right decision. Thank you for quitting. Following Derek, even Emily thanked me for quitting my job, leaving me completely bewildered. Emily then smiled warmly and shared something with me. A few days later, I received a direct call from the client of the building construction on my cell phone, leading to an unexpected summons back to the company I had resigned from. Rushing to the company and being led to the designated meeting room, I found Michael sweating profusely and looking down, a distinguished middle-aged man in a fine suit, and the familiar building construction client's representative. John, we've been waiting for you. What's going on? I'm terribly sorry, but I've resigned. We've heard everything. Absolutely unacceptable. Actually, we've been having trouble getting clear answers from Michael here regarding the building's design. I see. To top it off, he submitted proposals that completely ignored the concept we had approved, creating utter chaos. When pressed, it turned out that you were the one who had created that brilliant design. We've called you here because we desperately want to see that building completed based on your design. We need your expertise, John. I glanced at Michael, who had turned pale and shrunk in size behind the client. His previously arrogant demeanor had completely changed, and he now looked like he was on the verge of tears, sitting on the floor. John, I'm truly sorry. It's too late for that now. Please, don't say that. Help me. What? You were the one acting all high and mighty because you're a president's son, saying your job was safe even if the project failed. Why are you saying this now? Well, that's because. You fool. How dare you say such things? I've reached my limit this time. You talked about scrapping the project. Do you have any idea how important Lumina Construction is as a client to my company? This project is actually being carried out by us. Eek. I just thought we were a mere subcontractor. Subcontractor or not, every business partner is valuable in completing the same work. Do you have any idea how ashamed I felt hearing about all the trouble you've caused at Lumina Construction, where I pleaded for you to be trained? I'm sorry. Please forgive me, Dad. This time, I won't forgive you. We're done. Michael tearfully apologized and clung to his father, following the disownment declaration. Unbeknownst to many, Emily worked for the construction company managed by Michael's father. She served as the executive secretary, essentially supporting Michael's father's company. Moreover, they shared a close relationship, more akin to a father and daughter than a boss and secretary, often sharing homemade lunches. Emily had been contemplating whether to inform her boss about Michael's arrogant behavior, credit theft, condescension, and neglect of site work based on the stories I shared. However, my resignation prompted her to reveal everything to Michael's father. He was furious to learn that his cherished secretary's husband, me, had resigned due to the son's tyranny. He had sent his son to a construction company client for on-the-job training, but upon hearing of his misdeeds from his secretary, Emily, he rushed to Lumina Construction for an inquiry. Around the same time, Derek, a senior colleague, had submitted a petition to President Brighton about Michael's tyranny. It appears that Mr. Brighton then shared this with Michael's father for consultation. I later learned that Derek had written a compelling document expressing concern about the loss of a promising junior, me, and requested my resignation be reconsidered. Knowing the true intent behind their thank you made me laugh. Subsequently, I was called back to the company I had left and rehired not as a construction worker but as an architect. Michael was abandoned by the client, the company, and his father, and ended up being fired. He cried and wailed to the end, but no one extended a helping hand. His misdeeds became well known throughout the industry, making employment difficult, and he was left wandering. Meanwhile, I successfully completed the significant building construction project. Years later, with accumulated experience, I advanced from a second-class architect to a first-class architect, receiving recognition for my work on commercial facilities, buildings, and custom homes, fulfilling my dreams and living a content life. And soon, our family will grow by one. I plan to design a happy home for our family,